I'm going to start today's video with a story. So I'm going to tell a story about something that happened to me about a week ago. So about a week ago, I joined some friends of mine to go to the library on our campus here. And on our library, there are several, it's a 12-story library. It's a pretty tall library. It's actually the tallest building, let me think. It's either the tallest building in our county, or at the very least, it's the tallest building in our area, in our town here. So it's a tall building, 12 stories to this library. And the floors of the library alternate by what's a quiet study area and what's like a general discussion area. So for example, the first floor of our library is fine for general discussion. Most places on the first floor are going to be pretty loud. It's not great places for studying. It's more a great place to hang out with friends and grab something to eat. The second floor of the library, where I ended up studying with some friends about a week ago, which is where the story takes place, is a designated quiet study floor. So you're not going there to hang out and just, talk with friends very loudly. But that's what happened with our friends. Now, for most of the night, we were fine. We were studying and being pretty quiet. But one of our other friends joined us, who's also my roommate. And he's a pretty loud talker. And he knows he's a loud talker. But sometimes he can forget just how loud he could be. And it's fine. It doesn't bother any of us, of course. We know him pretty well. But for people who don't know him well, it might come off as pretty off-putting, pretty rude. And especially given the situation here. We were on, like I said, one of these designated quiet study floors of our library. So we still do fine. We're all pretty quiet most of the night. And when we're getting ready to leave around 10 o'clock, maybe 9:30, 10 o'clock or so at night, we're getting all of our backpacks on and stuff, and we're getting ready to go. And my friend, the loud one, my roommate, is having a conversation with one of my other friends. And they're getting pretty excited, pretty passionate about the conversation. And they're both forgetting that this is a quiet study floor, but especially my loud friend is forgetting. And his outdoor voice is coming out, he's got a loud booming voice. And again, we're on it's supposed to be a designated quiet study area, quiet study floor. So he's talking loudly. We all know this. We're trying to dude, quiet down. But he keeps talking. More and more people around the floor, their heads keep turning and they're looking at him. And while he's talking, while everyone's getting packed up, I'm kind of looking around the room. And someone we were sitting in a booth in the library, and someone in an adjacent booth to us, he stands up where he's sitting in his booth. He turns around to face my friend, and in front of the whole entire floor of the library, the whole floor, because everyone's looking and it's like dead quiet. The only people talking are my two friends here. Everyone else is looking at them. And he turns around in front of the whole floor and he says, "Dude, shut up." Just like that. And it's pretty quiet. Now, a few of my other friends that were studying with us, didn't see or hear this happen for some reason, probably because my other friends were being so loud. But I saw it, I heard it happen, and so did everyone else on the floor. Everyone. There were dozens of people with their heads turned, all looking. It was super quiet when the guy said that. So he calls him out. He tells him to shut up. And my friend, instead of saying anything back to the guy, he bows his head and he says, "Oh, okay, I'll shut up," and that's it. And he stays quiet for the rest of the time that we're on the floor. And I did the same thing. My friend didn't stand up for himself. He submitted to that guy, and I did the same thing. Faced in that moment with, I guess, like what Jordan Peterson would call a direct encounter with chaos, which you could say it was, maybe to a smaller scale than what we usually think of chaos. In that moment, when you think of that fight or flight or freeze response, as researchers now call it, you could say I froze. I knew that the right thing to do was to stand up for my friend and to call out that guy and say, I'm not sure exactly what I would have said, but anything would have been better than nothing, than just submitting to him, just like how my friend did. Now, this video isn't about being dominated by people. It's not about being masculine, it's not about masculinity and being a manly man or anything like that, but I did submit to him. So did my friend. And that's what had me so angry even hours after that was done. Even hours after all my friends and probably everyone else on the floor had forgotten about that, I was still mad. I was having a hard time falling asleep that night. Hours after it was all done. And I wasn't so mad at that guy on the floor of our library who said that to my friend and called him out in front of everyone, told him to shut up in front of everyone on the floor. I wasn't as mad as that guy as I was at myself, because I felt that in me. Like, I knew what I should have done. I felt those nerves, those butterflies in my chest, and I knew in that moment what I should have done, the right thing to do, and I didn't. I froze. I submitted to that guy, and I let him, call my friend whatever he wants. Now, it's important to remember, at least this is how I view it, is that I don't have responsibility for my friend. I don't truly have any responsibility for anyone in this life except myself. That's how I see it. So the way I see it, I don't have responsibility for, my friend's feelings. He didn't stand up for himself. He chose to submit to him. That's on him, right? If he felt, and I'm not sure exactly how strongly, if at all, he felt about that. I'm not sure how mad he is, if he's even still mad about it, if he still thinks about it, or if he quickly brushed it off. He's the kind of person to brush things off like that. He doesn't usually take criticisms to heart very much, which is an admirable quality in him. But if he felt very strongly about that, then that's his responsibility to stand up for himself and to tell that person how he feels, if he feels a certain strong way. But he didn't. It's not my responsibility to do that, but you could say you have a responsibility to people that you care about, to friends and family, right? But more importantly for me is I have responsibility to myself. This is a self-improvement channel, and I'm trying to improve in all aspects, in all areas in my life, and in every situation that I find myself in, because I'm growing all the time. At least I like to think I am. Reading these books, watching other similar self-improvement videos like my own, other channels with similar goals and interests to my own, and trying to learn new things every day, not just about the world around me, but about myself. And I would say I put a pressure on myself to act perfectly in every situation that I find myself in. Every direct encounter with chaos that I find myself in, I feel that I have to respond perfectly to that. Because I've been reading, because I've been watching videos, because I've been watching other people, improve themselves in their lives. And I've been working on myself, so I should know what to do in every situation. I should act perfectly in every situation. Jake, you've rehearsed these things in your head, what you would do to stand up to this bully, or what you would do in this situation, how you'd be courageous here. But in moments like that, I fail myself. That's how I viewed it, that situation. I've had some time, though, since that situation. It's been about a week. I've been able to pull myself back from the situation and view it from a different angle and realize that, no, I didn't act perfectly. I didn't. That guy, when he called my friend out in front of everyone, I knew what I should have done. I knew what I wanted to do. I felt that in myself, and I didn't do it. And that's okay. That's okay. That's something that I need to get better at telling myself, and it's something I want to share with you guys too, that it's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to not be perfect. If you're on this channel, if you're watching my videos, and especially if you're subscribed to my channel, chances are that you want to improve yourself in one way or another in your life. You could call me a self-improvement junkie, I guess. I guess it's a good kind of junkie. Self-improvement books, and self-development books, things like that, I've been hooked on for a while, and videos, and like I said, I've been, reading, eating up the literature and all the material on self-improvement, and also, or even more importantly, I would say, doing good things for myself in my life. I've made videos on that before. But I've got to remind myself that it's okay to fall sometimes. It's okay to fail sometimes. Sometimes I'm going to disappoint myself, and that's okay. I shouldn't be pursuing perfection. And that's the message I want to pass on to all of you guys. If you're trying to pursue perfection, you'll never reach it, because perfection is unattainable. It doesn't actually exist. No one can act perfectly in every situation that they find themselves in their life. It just It can't happen. You can't do that. I don't know how you'd be able to do that. It's unattainable. It's unsustainable as well. You can't do it. So what's a better goal? What's a better goal to strive for? I would say a better goal is to strive to learn from every situation that you're in. Not just the good situations, not only to just analyze what you did well in each situation, but to also analyze what you can improve on. I touched on that in one of my previous videos about journaling, and I conclude that, I don't know, the camera kind of flips this, but whatever corner of the video that link's gonna pop up in, I'll include a link to my journaling video, where I talked about in that video the importance of analyzing your days and analyzing the moments in your day that you did well. And I also talked about the importance, conversely, of analyzing the moments in your day where you could have done better, where you could improve in the future. This is a moment from my story. This is a moment where I can improve. So instead of kicking myself and beating myself up for not acting perfectly, not acting quite how I wanted to, because I didn't act at all, right? Instead of beating myself up for it, wouldn't it be more beneficial for myself in the long run to say, all right, that's okay. We didn't act perfectly, but what can we learn from this situation so that we can be better in the future? So to take this situation as an example, if I do this little exercise on myself, I'll do it right now. I can think, all right, like I called out my friend, you knew what you should have done, what you wanted to do, and you didn't do it. And that fight or flight freeze moment, you froze. It's not like you wanted to, but your body froze up. It was unexpected. It was an unexpected encounter with chaos. It really was unexpected. I wasn't, anticipating that happening. Last thing I was anticipating, after a good quiet study session at the library. What I can learn from that is to be able to better recognize situations like that. So the next time that happens, I can more easily and quickly, I would say more quicker or more faster. You know what I mean. I'll be able to respond faster to situations like that because I'll be able to recognize those situations. So I can listen to myself, listen to my heart, if you want to say, and I don't mean that in a poetic way. I mean, listen to your heart when it starts racing, because chances are when your heart's doing that, it's telling you this is something that you need to go confront. This is a fear that you're confronted with. You've got to go and face it. You got to go and conquer this fear. I should have done that in that situation. I didn't, but I can improve for next time. I can at least learn from my mistakes. And that's a choice you have to make. You have to make that conscious effort. You have to make a decision to want to learn from your failures, from your setbacks. Very important. If you don't do as well as you want to in a moment in your day, and you don't learn anything from it, you don't gain anything from that situation. It's just a loss. That's it. Just a loss on yourself, on your self-esteem. We don't want to be doing that. We want to be growing from every situation, good and bad. I believe there's always something to take away from every situation that we find ourselves in. I can take good from that situation, though it sucked. My friend and myself both ended up submitting to that guy. I should have said something. And you could say that wasn't a big deal and that it's not worth my time. Well, it's a fair argument. But to me, it felt like something I should have done. I didn't do it, but I can do it in the future because I've learned from this. I know now that in the future, I'll be able to better recognize moments where I should tell people how I feel. I should stand up for myself or for people that I care about. And I'll be able to do it faster because I'll be able to more quickly recognize those situations. So that's the good that I can pull from that situation. So that's my, I guess if you want to say my two important messages, my two main points in this video is it's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to not be perfect. And as I've said before, these videos are just as much for myself as they are for all of you guys. I'm getting value from these videos, and I sure hope you guys are as well. And also my second point, try to be learning something from every situation that you go through. Try and learn something, because if you don't, it's just going to be a loss for yourself, and we don't want to do that. We want to be gaining something from every situation we find ourselves in, good or bad. So those are my 2 main points. Stop trying to pursue perfection, let go of perfection, and try to learn something from every situation. Don't beat yourself up too much. Instead, use every situation you can to sharpen your sword, right? To improve yourself and to learn, to gain wisdom from everything you experience, good or bad. Thanks for listening, guys. I'll catch you in the next video.